friends, and welcome back to Lemon Tree Corner. I'm your host Heather, and we normally do crafty things here, but lately we are working on setting up our new home. So we just recently bought a house, we're moving in, getting everything set up. We've got the sewing studio is taking shape, so I'm excited to share that with you this week. And so if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. And just a reminder, anything you do to interact with the channel, like hitting the like button, sharing, you don't even have to share, you can just hit share and copy the link. That helps. And if you're on your phone, if you would hit the hype button or subscribe, that would be wonderful as well. So let's talk about plans. In this episode, we are going to be mostly trying to unpack, set up the house. I'm going to have my nephew over. We're going to work on setting up the cutting table, which has become a little bit more complex and confusing than I was hoping for. So we'll go over all that. And I'm really hoping that if we can get even if we don't get the table set up, I can use the kitchen table. And I really need to start sewing again because I really miss it and I feel like I'm getting behind. So that's one of the things I've been struggling with this whole move, is just this feeling of not getting enough done. I want to have everything put away. It's completely unrealistic, I realize, but that's just kind of what I'm going through. So it's been a real eye-opener for me of how I handle things and handle stress. And yeah, if I was in therapy, I would be talking to my therapist about it. But it's been a long time since I've done therapy. But I do need to come up with a spiritual practice that works for me. I've been thinking about doing The Way of Mastery or A Course in Miracles, just kind of on my own. I have both of those books. I just need to devote some time and soul searching and grace for myself. That's something that's definitely missing from my life. So I gotta get on that. This move has really pointed that out to me, that I just kind of go along and, my creativity is based on doing things, making things, and not really exploring my soul and getting into the depths of, why do I do things this way? Can I do things nicer? Can I serve the world in a greater purpose than I'm doing now? Can I give back more? So those are all questions that have been brought up during this whole process. I also find myself not really feeling grateful. We have this wonderful house. We've gotten so much help to get here, and it is like a miracle to own a house in Southern California in this day and age. And while I am grateful, I'm not feeling grateful, if that makes any sense. So I've been feeling guilty about not feeling grateful. It's been a journey, that's for sure. So I'm looking forward to kind of setting this up, properly as a comfortable home for me and the dogs and my husband. We've got the bookshelves to unpack all the books and put those away. We've got the cutting table to make. We've got the shelves that are going to go around the top of this room that have to be sanded and painted and all that stuff. So a lot of work to do still, but I'm hoping we will actually get to our project. So let's take a look at our last project we were working on. Okay, so during the move, we were right in the middle of making the noodle head pencil pouches. These are super cute. I call them notions pouches. And as you know, if you've been here for a while, we are preparing for the SoCal Fiber Fair in November. So I'm trying to make as many bags as I can. And so we've got 22 of these, 23, cut out and ready to sew. And I just have to cut out all of the fusible fleece and get to work sewing all of these. So that's the next project, but obviously I would like to have the cutting table set up and be able to unpack everything. The cutting table is going to give me 12 extra cubes. I've got these Ikea cubes. We've got them in the closet. I have an extra set of 4 here, but the cutting table is going to give us 12 extra cubes to put things in. So I'm going to put the interfacing, the foam, like the bolts of that are going to go through the ones that are connected. and then I've got other stuff to unpack. So I'd really like to get that set up. So it's become a bit of a struggle because originally I was just going to do the hack, get the Ikea, the bases, because the bases kind of raise it up to counter height naturally. And then I was just going to get a melamine top that was going to be cut at Lowe's to the right size. We were going to put a little edge, iron a little edge banding on it and call it a day. And then my boss came over, who's a woodworker, and he's like, So after spending 4 hours going to 3 Lowe's and 1 Home Depot to try and get the piece of wood and have a saw, a working saw for them to cut it, me and my nephew, 4 hours later, I can't use that melamine board. So I'm going to have to go back and get like a plywood top that we can use, which means I'm going to have to paint it and polyurethane it. And then the bottom isn't going to work either because I put the bases together and they just sit on the base. They don't actually connect to the base in any way. I guess because Ikea just thinks you're putting a piece of furniture in a corner and it doesn't need to move or be connected to the base at all. So that's not going to work. So we're going back to the drawing board and I'm watching more YouTube videos. And Susan, we're going to do the caster wheels. So I'm going to have to figure out how to make kind of like a 2x4 frame on the bottom. And it's gotten to the point where I feel way out of my league, way out of my comfort zone, and I don't have a chop saw or circular saw. I don't have a drill. You know, it's like all of these things that I would need to do this project. So calling in reinforcements, my nephew's gonna come over and help me figure this all out, and hopefully by the end of this video, we will have a cutting table to share with you. So that's probably gonna be the majority of what's going on this week, and hopefully we'll actually get to some sewing and be back to sewing. So really looking forward to doing our first project in our new sewing studio. So if that sounds fun to you, go ahead and grab yourselves a water or a cool beverage. It's still really hot here in Southern California. Don't move during the summer. Get comfortable and let's make the sewing studio of our dreams this week. We are finally to the fun part. So my niece helped me put these bookshelves together and we're gonna fill them with all the stuff. I have quite a few books, so we'll see how this goes. I also bought these super cute bookends that are octopi. So if you've watched my videos lately, you know that I read Remarkably Bright Creatures. Wonderful book, wonderful movie. So that's kind of the theme we've got going on here. I do have a ton of children's books since I am eventually going to write a children's book someday. So I have my collection of children's books that I'm just going to throw up here. I've got my favorite, Where the Sidewalk Ends. I seem to have a lot of poetry books. I didn't realize I had that many poetry books. And then we've got a fake hanging plant in this macrame holder that my niece made me for Christmas. So when the handyman comes back, I'll have to have him put that in the ceiling for me. And then we've got our chicken, which probably is not staying here, but he's just kind of fun. I'm sure I'll have something else to go on top there. Okay, so that's looking nice and full. I've also got stuff in the below that's a little more personal, like my journals and stuff. And then I also have room for decor. So these decor items will be switched out in the fall and the winter. We've got the totally fun octopus. Can you sense a theme here? Kind of coat rack. So we've got my hats and then the dog's leash is here, and it's really behind the door, so unfortunately, you know, it's a tight space, but that's what we're looking at here. Once the boxes are all moved out of the way, we've got this beautiful bay window. It only works going down, unfortunately, but it's a really pretty view outside. It's a really pretty view outside. We're eventually going to move this plant over just because it's right in the middle of the window, and yeah, I don't like that because we want to have a leg lamp in here in Christmas time, and it's just nice to look out here. It's a nice quiet street, and nice and bright and cheerful. Good news, we just got an order off the website, but everything's up there, and my cutting table is not assembled, so I will have to move these out of the way. I will have to move those out of the way in order to get to the bags that she purchased. So thank you, Jessica, for purchasing, and let's get this order put together. Set up for some woodworking today. So my nephew brought over the big saw and he's gonna help me. I need moral support for this. Basically, I can sand things myself and paint things myself, but I really just need the moral support with attaching these boards and the wheels and flipping it over. And I think if that's what we get done today, that's good enough. I can sand little by little. And my boss is on vacation, so I don't know how much of this, I don't know if he went somewhere or if he's just at home. So we'll see what we get through today. Just need these guys. I think that'll be good. I'm still gonna have to use a smaller cutting mat just because that's how the cookie crumbles. So really the only problem with this arrangement is that I'm gonna be standing the whole time, but that's okay. I think that'll be fine. I'm bending over a little bit right now just because the tabletop's not on here, but as soon as we get the tabletop on here, that'll add another 3/4 of an inch, and I think that'll be good at that point. Yay! It's kind of apprehensive to get back to actually working on anything, but I think it's been, I'll have to figure out how long it's been. It's been at least 2 weeks since I stopped doing it, but I think it might have been longer than that. So very grateful to my nephew for helping me with that. I really looking forward to figuring all of that out myself. It got more and more complicated as we went along. Okay, so here it's time to paint now. And I kept these overalls. I never wear them, so I kept them for possible painting jobs in the future. And that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna paint these shelves the same yellow that we have in the sewing room. I'm hoping I have just enough paint left I've got 4 shells to paint. And then I saw this trick on somebody else's YouTube, because I'm probably going to have to do this over 4 different days. So we will paint it, let it dry, come back in a little bit and paint it again. So I invested in a nice brush, but I can also use some foam brushes if I want to. Officially back to sewing. Yay! So what I'm going to do to save myself time is I'm just going to batch sew all of these with white thread, and then we'll do the top stitching after we attach the fusible fleece. I think it's just going to be way faster and easier to do it that way. So I'm going to kind of, I don't know if I'm going to stage this here so I can do this, but we're just going to sew these together at 1/4 inch. And then I'm just going to keep rolling. And I've got the dog bed right underneath me, so I'm not sure how this is going to work with the new setup, but we'll give it a shot. I think I can drag this way closer to me. Setup is a bit unwieldy, but I think it'll work because the outlet over by where we're going to have the ironing station is not working. We are going to use our cutting table. I've just got the old ironing board on here. The nice thing about this is that it's transportable, so we can move it around. So we've got that, and then I've just got my stack here that we're going to iron. So I'm just going to iron these, open, and then we'll put the interfacing on them. So it'll be like a nice little assembly line for that. The nice thing is that I can look out the window from here. Unfortunately, there's a big Spectrum van in my view right now, but normally it looks nicer than that. And we'll get the interfacing. I can also watch videos on my computer from here, so we're going to do that as well. So I've basically just got the interfacing. We cut it shorter than the rest. I don't know if you can see that, but it's well outside the seam allowance. And then what we'll do after this is we'll top stitch these in the correct thread color as we do the zipper tabs and all that fun stuff. Where I want to put the ironing station, I think it's going to be worse because that's definitely shorter than this. So that might just be decorative, which sucks because it takes up a lot of room just to be decorative. But I hate to banish it back to the garage because it's beautiful and it fits in perfectly with the sewing room. Maybe I just use it to stage things on, like my current project. Instead of taking up room on the cutting table, I can put all those pieces there. I could also put the filing, the filed things that I have that don't fit anywhere in this room. And they don't fit the cubes. I was really hoping they would fit the cubes, but they don't. So maybe I can put that there, and that just becomes where I put the current project I'm working on, like all of these pieces that are on the design board could go there. Just really have to use the room and get it as familiar as I can. The interfacing is taking up a lot more space than I thought it was going to. It's really taking up all 8 cubes here underneath me, which is, I was hoping that it was only going to be taking up 4 of those cubes, and then I could put other stuff in the cubes, but it looks like I'm stuck with the interfacing going, it goes like 3/4 of the way through the cubes. So I've got like a half of a cube on the other side to work with, which means I can't use the little cube baskets or anything in there. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going to fit in there besides all the little bits. And I'm kind of using these side ones for the things that I'm going to grab more often. So, yeah, it'll just take a while, I'm sure, for the room to evolve into a usable space. So please excuse the lawnmower outside, but I wanted to gather my thoughts. I had a talk with my husband last night. He's coming home tomorrow, and I've just been in this like really crappy headspace for pretty much the entire week he's been gone, which is pretty typical. This is the longest thing he does every year, and it's a lot already because I'm full-time with the dogs, taking care of everything. Something always pops up that's stressful, and then of course this, moving into a new house and then being alone for a week with everything is very stressful. We have a lot of flies that have come into the house, and so I have found maggots in the morning as I'm trying to make my breakfast. Crawling up from the sink, so I've got that to deal with. I'm thinking of getting one of those electronic racket things that we can just zap them with. I don't know if it's just because we've been, moving stuff in and out and the doors have been open, but really need to get this under control because that's disgusting. And, just dealing with all of that myself, and then all the boxes, and I've got a bunch of stuff that I can't put away, and part of it is because we need to build the shelves in here, and the other part of it is I've just got a lot of crap. And I don't know how I fit it all in the other house, but I did. And I can't fit it in this house, and we've got this huge family room. So we talked through maybe getting some more Ikea furniture, because we've got walls on both sides of the TV that we could put some furniture on and store some stuff in there. Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. And I'm feeling very ungrounded. I'm feeling very untethered. Yeah, it's just, I'm in a really bad headspace right now. And part of that is setting up this studio and thinking, am I doing this next year? This pressure to have this side business and make all these bags. And part of the reason I'm doing the fiber fair is to kind of clear out a bunch of fabric, make a lot of room so that I don't feel the pressure. Obviously, I've got tons of fabric still left even after this show, even if I sold everything. And next year I'd really like to just take it easier and not feel so stressed out and the need to produce. So I would like it to be more of a bespoke thing, like, oh, I've made 5 baskets. Here they are. I'm going to put them on Instagram and put them in the web shop, and whatever happens, happens. It's really difficult for me to make that transition and kind of think of stepping back from what I'm doing, but I know that it's the healthiest thing for me. So part of the problem with this house is that it represents, first of all, I'm investing a lot of time and money into setting up a sewing studio that I might not be sewing in the future. So that's kind of weird. I mean, I'm a creative, crafty person. I'm going to use all of this stuff, whether I'm making a quilt or making bags or whatever. So just knowing that this house represents a lot of transition in my life in the year to come is kind of putting me in a bad mood towards the house. And then all this stuff that's happened is putting me in a bad mood towards the house. And it's just not feeling like home. There's a lot of things about this house that are wonderful, and then there's a lot of things about this house that I want to change, and we just don't have the money to change all of these things. Like the countertops in the kitchen, and redoing the whole front yard, and redoing the electrical. And there's just like some weird decisions that were made in this house. My brain is just in a bad place right now. And I've been alone with my thoughts for a week, and the dogs and the stress, and Oreo's still peeing on things. We've got these fly issues going on. I've still got lots of boxes. And yeah, I'm just not feeling great. So I'm trying to get back into sewing and doing things. And this room is really the only room that feels comfortable to me right now. Like the rest of the house doesn't feel very comfortable. Yeah, those are my depressing thoughts right now. And I think I just need to give it time to wait for these things to fall into place. And it might take a while, and it might not be till next year. In the meantime, I will keep ironing. I will keep ironing zipper tabs, and we will keep on trucking. Okay, we have our notions pouches all ready to sew. What I did is I picked out zippers, and we also put our labels on here. Now the amusing thing is I had ordered sew-in labels that you would like sew into the seam a long time ago, and I couldn't find them for the life of me. And I had apparently put them in a recipe box and put them in the hutch, never to be seen again. So while we could sew these into the side, I think for all the smaller bags, I do want to use the iron-on labels, but we will keep these for things like the squishy bags, and the other bags will be good for that. So I will have to remember where these live now. We are going to get started. We're going to go in color groupings. So I've got my light pink ones here that we're going to take off the top. So I've got the cutting table right behind my chair, but I'm going to need to use it as an ironing station as we're sewing. So I have to have like enough room back here to walk and iron, and then come back over here to sew. So that seems to be the biggest challenge so far, but I think I can manage to do both at the same time. So since we did not top stitch, we're also going to top stitch these as well at this point. So let's start the first sewing project in the new house. Yay!
I wanna go there someday. I know we're going somewhere. Into the danger zone. It all points right to that. I set myself aside, lead the way on this trial. If you don't know the way, we can stop and make a change. I know we walk for days, losing hope, fading love. This night will be okay, waking up to another day.
So I started re-listening to The Shell Seekers by Rosamund Pilcher. I love Rosamund Pilcher. Rosamund Pilcher and Maeve Binchy are two of my favorite just kind of everyday life authors, I guess, fiction writers, but they're not like romance technically or anything, but I really love their books. And yeah, so listen to this one. I've still got 15 hours left. I'm only on chapter 5, so.
I know we walk for days, losing hope, fading love. This night will be okay, waking up to another day. Day.
And we are done with another week. So it's been a pleasure to get back to sewing. It's been really nice. It's amazing how much that brightens my mood and makes me feel more comfortable in this house. So thank you, Jessica, for placing an order, the first order packed in the house, and she's already reached out to me for some more things, so that's wonderful. All of our notions pouches done. Yay! So we've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 21 notions pouches done. That's wonderful. I don't know that I'm going to make any of these in the fall and the winter fabrics. So next up, I think we're going to go back to the winter fabrics, kind of plan out all of the small bags that we're going to make, set them out in different configurations. We still have to make do we still have to make the pyramid pouches? I can't remember. So we possibly have to make the pyramid pouches, the kitties, the piggies, and the coin purses in the Christmas fabrics. I have a few Christmas piggies, so we'll have to go through and figure out what we've already made and what we need to make still, but that's wonderful. So back to Christmas fabrics. So feeling much better about the house. I was kind of in a bad way there for a while. My thoughts were getting quite despondent, but I'm back to feeling good about the house. My husband came home, we brought the handyman over, we hung some shelves. So feeling a lot better about the state of the house and feeling more comfortable in the house, so that's good. And Susan, thank you for your suggestion. We've got the cutting table all set up and ready to go. I just have to put the tabletop on it. It is working out very nicely. I've basically just got the cutting mat on top of here, and our lamp and the rulers and things like that, and then I've got all of my stuff here on the side in the cubes. I've also got all of the interfacing in the cubes that go all the way through, so that's taking up about 3/4 of the space. So I could technically put something on the other ends. We'll just see how that goes. And then so far I've just been pushing it back and forth. It can kind of tuck into this corner here by the window if I need it to. And then when I'm sewing, I kind of have it further this way so that I can sew, iron, sew, iron. So that's been working out nicely. And then when I'm not sewing, I can push it straight forward and get all of the ironing and cutting and stuff done here. So the only problem I have run into so far is that I am standing a lot of the time. So what I might do is when I'm ironing all of the zipper tabs and all of that kind of thing, I might still sit in front of the couch and do that. Yeah, not sure how that's going to work out. But as far as sewing, ironing, that's been working out really good. And then getting stuff from the bins up here has been a little precarious. I have to get on the step stool, get the bin down, turn and put it on the cutting table. So that's been a little challenging, but we'll see how that goes in future. I might just need to have my husband available to help me when it's time to do that kind of thing. So I'm not doing it by myself. So thank you once again for joining me. I'm glad that we're back to sewing. Hopefully you've hung in there until the sewing came back. So I hope you have a wonderful week ahead and hang in there. Love you, friends. Bye.